Hey guys, gonna do a quick video to show you guys a mini album just finished. So this is a mini album that's long time in the making. I kind of did it halfway, and then I did like my own um, destashing, clearing out, and then I just put it into a box and I left it somewhere. I almost completely forgot about it, and then sometime I think in December I kind of figured out, no wait, I have this lying around. So I went to take it out, and then I started working on it again. So this is like close to about a year and a half to 2 years of a project because it was hiding in the box half the time. Yeah, so a lot of the things here are made with the French General paper line as well as the cloth tape sort of thing. And I wanted to kind of like go down with that, but I am also mixing in a lot of things from other collections that kind of work, and also with a lot of vintage ephemera. So really this is very inspired by the French theme sort of look. And so a lot of like the hardwares and a lot of like the vintage ephemera, and they are real vintage, not all of them, but some of them are, which are within the book. And so that's kind of like the idea that I went with. So here is the spine, this really thick spine, and this has like a total of 6 signatures on top of the covers, and this is the back. So I really wanted to go with a very French theme. So here we have I think this is a very old school romantic prima flower that managed to dig up from my own stash. And then we have like a fleur-de-lis here, and then some really cool buttons. And I kind of want to go with this kind of like homemade sort of feel as well. So you can see even from the side for the charms, you use string to beat up a lot of these cool, very old school, I suppose, sort of beats. So that's how this look, and this is really cool as well. I'm not sure whether the camera's gonna pick that up. Oh, the light is probably not working in my favor, but yeah, I thought that's really cool. As well as this like cool sort of like Asian looking beads. It kind of work well the whole like look of this. And so the colors are obviously very French General inspired colors. So there are teals, your reds and your blues, and that's pretty much how most of the book looks like. So the first part is just like a simple layout with a place in which I tucked in a really small note card for writing. And this is kind of inspired by the way that they kept like sewing stuff. So I made this kind of like pocket that was made out of vellum. And here is a paper bag that I folded up into sort of like a interesting pocket. And this is do what makes you happy. And this opens up to be places for photos and journaling, which is really nice. And one of the things that I tried to do when was doing my album, right? When I'm looking at like this 2 or 3 panel sort of thing, I wanted the full pattern to be continuous, especially because the way the French General when they were under Julie's Boutique, when the line was under Julie's Boutique, did their papers was that the papers were very inspired from like wallpaper, and I wanted to have like the whole full stretch of the look. So that's that. And here is just a simple book that opens up, and here is a Prima paper clip to clip down this really cool vintage prayer card. And I think this is in French, if I am not mistaken. Yep, made in France. I thought it's kind of cool. Some vintage buttons. This is not vintage, but this is a vintage button on one of the French General tags, which I tied this really cool vintage lace around, which is really, really nice. This was gifted to me, I believe, by Paper in Paris. So here are more little tags from the French General collection, and it just writes here every day with like the and here you see another example of which how I use the French General paper to kind of do like a continuous spread, and thought it's kind of cool. So like if you put like photos, it would look really cool with this. And there's a place for journaling right here, and then a place for a smaller photo right here. I'm not gonna show you too many of the pullouts. So each of these actually the signature actually has a pullout, and then they are exactly the same. So I'm gonna do one, and then I won't be showing it anymore. So each of the signatures have a pullout that opens up into a mini booklet for more journaling and writing opportunities. Okay, so this is the next page. I took one of the old packaging that I had all these, and then I did like a little collage here, and this is like a Tim Holtz ticket, in which you can die cut out, and I used this real vintage cigar label, and then stapled on a cool, really nice lace. And this is a Paris vintage Paris stamp. It's really cool, and I thought it went really well with the collection. And this is also I think it's from a French a medical book, so I thought it looks really cool. This opens up to be a place where you can tuck in some of the vintage ephemeras, and if you wanted to, you could like fit in a couple more 3R photos there. And this is like an envelope that also has another vintage French, this 1980 I think, or 90. Can't really see, I think it's 80, yeah, 1980 stamp. And just a simple card for writing. And this is a real vintage ephemera with a really cool, also another French postcard. Really, really cool. And these little places where you can write labels onto what you want to do. Okay, so here is just a very simple a button with a note card in which journaling and writing can go to, and here will be a great place of photos. And this right here is actually one of the French General those sticker, but it's actually cloth, so that's really cool. And here I did some simple magnetic flip out as well, and here is another vintage French stamp. Okay, here is just some more cool ephemera. So there's a sticker from like, I think the what's that brand called? But it's one of the stickers that they had, which is also French theme, which encapsulates most of the colors, which are well in theme with what is in this one. And so I thought it went really well with the book. And then there's a nice lace here, and you can tuck photos behind this one. And on this side, we have this French dude, which is just like lying there and having a drink. And I put two vintage stamps here, and this is a very old school basic grey basics collection sticker. I've been sitting there in my stash for the longest of time and thought it's a great time to use it. So here's another example of that continuous like paper flow, and then another place in which you can put a photo and a small area for journaling right here. Here is some more places where I have like some nice photo mat. I think this is a World Traveler paper pad, which had this really nice neutrals that went in quite well, and had this nice pinks that went well with the reds, which I left it here. And here are some, like, I took some of my scraps, I sewed them together, and I stuck them on here as background paper. And this cutout was actually from one of these French books pages that I got. And this is just some more tags from ephemera, and I thought this is really nice teal that goes with the kind of like the sub theme of the book of like teal. And here we have another place in which I pasted another vintage stamp, which is really cool. And then I think it's 1965, 85, one of them. Yeah, it's a cool vintage stamp. And then once again, the continuous flow of the pattern here from the French General paper, really cool. Okay, on to the last signature. So this is like a nice place where I put like a belly band, and some of you might have seen this on my Instagram. So this is actually a nice little tag that I made with the Ling Qianing collection of her stamps, and I used that to make this cool tag. And here is a vintage, also French, I believe. Really old vintage leather in which I used this envelope to just put in a very simple note card for writing. And I think it's really exquisite if you can see right here, where they have like a nice letter press, which is really cool. And here is another vintage postcard. It's also Paris, so I just thought this entire thing went really well with the theme, and tucked right behind there. And this is just a nice policy envelope. It's really small and cute, and that's all that it is here. There's not even a card inside, so the idea is that you can put in the other stuff. So this is my kind of like a French mini album. Yeah, and I really like it. Yeah, so leave your comments in the below the description box, and if any questions you can ask me there as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.